Hello and welcome to the HI UK Select monthly update for March 2025. I'm Paul Marriage from Premier Miton. So March 25 will go down as a pretty tricky month for a lot of people in markets. It was another period where uncertainty from the transatlantic and US trade policy really dominated kind of from start to finish, with different periods where people were more or less concerned about the global impact of US trade policy and its evolving nature. So I guess if we step back from that, the fund performance was reasonable. We lost a little bit of money over the period. We did not get some of the big drawdowns that we understand others saw in the market. But overall, we'd probably say we were a little bit disappointed with the fund's performance over the period. And I think the main thing we noticed during the period was that in the peak risk off, there was clearly a little bit more market crowding than we thought. So that meant that particularly European names, where we had some shorts, they probably didn't go down as much as we would have hoped. In a degrossing, a lot of short covering was going on. And likewise, while we had good longs, they probably we didn't get the balance we'd expect because of that crowding. So that's a bit of a learning for us, that perhaps particularly when we're going into European names, but also some UK names, some of that we need to monitor the crowding a little bit more. So that was a good lesson for us, and thankfully wasn't too damaging for the fund, but it's definitely something we noticed. So in that scenario, our shorts weren't going down quite as much as we'd expect them to do in a falling market, but our longs were. So the long book took the full impact without quite as much protection as we would have liked, even though we kept the portfolio very balanced, very small net long. So, it's very easy to take a number of individual names. Broadly, most things on the long book went down and most things on the short book went down. Therefore, we made a bit of money on the short book, not enough to make money over the month. I think probably the standout story, probably in the long book that's relevant for us, would be the UK supermarket price war, started by private equity-owned Asda, which is probably in quite a difficult place. In an inflationary environment, they've started a price war, which is pretty challenging, really, for the other grocers. And Tesco have come out and said it's going to be pretty tricky. Tesco is a reasonable long position for us. We've also done well in M&S, as you know. So that was a sort of individual stock negative. We suspect these things trade through. It can't be sustainable for too long, but it's notable that Co-op have just joined that price war as well. So that's something we need to be aware of in the grocery market, and actually wider impacts it could have. In the UK, the spring statement didn't really bring anything new. We know the government's in a relatively tight position, keen to grow, but not much money to spend on growth. We didn't see any, in particular, equity incentives, nothing particularly focused for UK equities. There was a bit of rumour around this. We felt it was fairly unlikely we were going to see something significant at this stage. And overall, the spring statement was a bit of a nothing done. I think more the bigger news probably is that we would expect to see a rate rise in the UK in May. A rate fall in the UK in May, a rate cut in the UK in May, and that would be a reasonably significant factor for the UK market in Q2. So we remain pretty full of ideas. We've seen a lot of companies this month. We've been to a number of conferences, and the fund has had a good rally from its lows. So we would be pretty comfortable that we're doing most of the right things. This has been a difficult month for the fund. And we've had a long period of very strong performance, so perhaps not surprising that we've had a difficult month and, frankly, a fairly difficult quarter. This hasn't been maybe to the same standards as we've held for most of the previous couple of years, but also, we've held it together and we're confident going into Q2 that we can get back on the bike in terms of our ability to deliver consistent returns. Thanks again for your support this month, and I look forward to updating you at the end of next month. In the meantime, I wish you a very happy Easter.